All right, welcome everybody to Pinfalls and Passports. For those who don't already know, this is a podcast for people just like you, those that love the sport of professional wrestling, and for members of our WWE travel community Discord server to keep us entertained and engaged during the year leading up to WrestleMania 42 in Las Vegas. Each episode will feature news, information, wrestling, and Las Vegas travel tips and a cast of crazy but amazing characters that make WWE travel community and its almost 1,800 members so great. If you're not a member of the WWE travel community, come join one of the fastest growing pro wrestling communities online. And you can find the Discord invite link here in the podcast bio. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Pinfalls and Passports. And you can find us now on TikTok pinfall_passports. And don't forget to subscribe to the podcast and keep up to date with all the things involving the WWE Travel Discord server community. My name is Mirah, and this is Pinfalls and Passports, and I'm joined today by introduce yourself, gentlemen.
Hey, Mirah, Daddy Dom here. How you doing?
Pretty good.
Good.
Hey, Mirah, it's Dorkchop in the house.
All right. Now, we got a little bit to talk about with AEW. So we had the 6-year anniversary show last night, October 1st, and that was a really solid show. Had a few a return. We had some matches, we had some stories developed during that, and we'll hop into it. But also, last week, Mr. Tony Khan announced the women's tag team titles. And we don't know how they're going to do a tournament or anything quite yet, but I'm very excited to see who the first women's tag team champions will be. But going into last night's show, who watched?
I did.
You
Yeah, I
did?
watched it.
Okay, so we all watched it. Yay!
I'm caught up. In fact, I just watched it before we came on here.
Okay, so good. I know the opening bout was Josh Alexander and the Broke Bucks. I don't know if y'all caught that part, but it was the Broke Bucks versus Dino and Kenny Omega. We enjoyed the match. The crowd popped for Kenny.
Yeah.
Dino is so over right now. The Young Bucks is a gimmick. Honestly, I love it. I love that they had the money for like 2 weeks. They spent all the money and now they're broke again. But Josh Alexander, he's a beast. I like how he's being utilized in the Don Callis family. I just want it to be like a little bit more. But what are our thoughts about that match and the post-match beatdown and everything else that happened?
So I was impressed with all the innovative maneuvers, the triple teams, the double teams. Both sides had some really good stuff going on for them. And I mean, I can't ever not get enough of Kenny Omega. He's a fun guy to watch in the ring. And the return was, well, it was one of the returns of all time. I mean, I felt whelmed.
You know, Kenny cuts a promo. And honestly, it was a really good promo. I actually really did like enjoy it. Like I was like, oh my God, like Kenny, like you're bringing back all the emotions. And then we get a return. Andrade.
Yep, the first guy to go from WWE to AEW, back to WWE, and then back to AEW.
Award.
And yeah, surprise. He's in the family. We got another one, guys. Collected him. Don Callis got his Pokemon Go up out, and he saw Andrade coming in through the front door and immediately snatched him up.
Kind of like it. I mean, I didn't want Tony to pick up the phone. I didn't really want Andrade back right now. I think like he's at this point where he just wants a job. And I get it, obviously, but I need you to be enthused about being there. I think it was Kill Bill. I think he said that Andrade did have a pop last night. So I was like, oh, okay. But I feel like I'm at the point with Andrade is that if the Don Callis family can't help you, nobody can.
Yeah. I found myself like when you're your kid at Christmas and you see the big box under the tree and you're really excited about it. That's how I felt when the lights went out. And then you open it up and it's a record player or something like that. But the other thing that got me was a couple weeks ago how like who isn't in the Don Callis family, and yeah, I mean I was about to say, well, Andrade isn't. Oh, and there he goes.
This is either gonna make or break Andrade, isn't it? Right? Because they're either gonna, it's either gonna be something a bit different for him to get his teeth on, or he's just gonna get absolutely lost in the shuffle and do absolutely nothing. So we'll see where they go. Like who knows? Maybe he will manage to reinvent himself through this Don Callis family, but I don't have particularly high hopes for it. Let's just nip back. Bucks losing their money, the now broke Bucks in the casino. Guys, gambling is real. If you were planning on going to WrestleMania to Las Vegas, beware. You can lose a lot of money by being very silly. Mm-hmm. I found this a bit strange that they're just kind of won it in the casino and then kind of lost it the next week. I thought they were going to do something with this money bag, like somebody was going to steal it from them. They left it at the ring like so many times. I thought, why has nobody run off with that money yet?
That was head too. I was like, why didn't anyone take it?
Yeah, like is that like there was a match like they lost, and I was like, silly, just come on, they're out, take the money. But no, anyway. But yeah, gambling warning, guys. When the fun stops, you should stop. And the broke Bucks found out the hard way. But yeah, you're right, Dorkchop. Who else could join the Don Callis? Who possibly could there be? Because we didn't just get one person joining, did we? No, they've actually ran out of people. They've actually had to start to clone some wrestlers now to make more numbers in the Don Callis family. Let's talk about clone hologram.
I thought that was being halted, but I guess we're going to progress with the story now with the clone hologram. But I just, every time I seen the screen like glitched out, I said, oh, okay. And then it's just like, oh no, I'm fine type of thing. But I don't know. I mean, I'm here for it if they can execute it. But yeah, I'm really about that.
We will see. We'll see. But let's get back to the match though. It was a really fun match, I thought. There was some really good spots in here. Kenny Omega looked on top form. Brody, though, looking absolutely awesome. Great fun.
Wait,
this
no,
is a fun start to the show.
Well, I guess it wouldn't be a spot, but them doing the Macarena, that was, I kept laughing so much because Brody's like, what the hell are we doing? And then he had to come in and do like the clothesline. I was like, yeah.
Yeah, that's one of those soon to be Instagram reels. You think wrestling is fake? Well, watch this type jobs, isn't it? That was kind of indie-rific, ridiculous.
One last thing I'll say about Andrade is that if he is going into a feud with Kenny, this could potentially help him. I just don't know because I never seen Andrade's personality before. He needs something, so something's going to have to come out of this. But I think it's a really good feud to start him off if you're going to bring him in as someone that you want to consider, your on your card. Kenny is a good guy for that. I just need to see a little bit more out of Andrade. But I am excited to see this potential feud. So
sure. Yeah, you're right. And we've seen Kenny, putting over some people, or at least not necessarily putting them over, but really allowing some sort of newer talent to really sort of show what they can do against Kenny, and who better to do that. So yeah, good performance. You didn't necessarily have to win, but a great performance against Kenny Omega could really, elevate Andrade, and let's hope it does. We'll see what happens.
And then we had the vignette of like the 6 years of the Dynamite, which I really did like. It took you back. Like you just seemed like a lot of good moments and everything during that. I had like it gave me a good heartfelt, but I did enjoy that. What about y'all?
Yeah, I enjoyed that. I tell you what I didn't like about this show. I didn't like the venue. I thought it was a bit weird.
I don't know, I kind of liked it. I kind of liked it because they typically thrive in those type of venues typically. So it was a little weird to see it like I guess like in like a curve, but I mean that's
Yeah,
okay. That's
like a
fine.
amphitheater type thing.
Mhm.
Well, it was like an auditorium type
Yeah.
place, wasn't it? What was it? Hard Rock? Is it Hard Rock?
Yeah,
I'm
Um,
not
it
exactly
was in
sure.
Hollywood,
but
Florida.
they're in Daddy's place next week, right?
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's for Title Tuesday. So that's an
Yep.
amphitheater type thing. But I don't know. I just thought the seating was a bit strange. It kind of looked like everyone was like sat really far away from each other. I thought maybe that's really comfy, but it just didn't make it look very busy. And I don't think it was very busy.
No, no, I don't think so.
Not many people turned out for the 6th anniversary show. But we did get Jurassic Express officially
Yes.
come out to save Kenny in the end after the beatdown from the for the Callis family. What do we think about Jack Perry and Luchasaurus getting back together?
I'm here for it. I know they're going after the tag team titles going down the line, obviously, but I'm here for it. Bring them back, build them up. I believe I was reading or watching somewhere where Jack Perry, like, he doesn't want to be Jungle Boy anymore. Like, he's just like, he wants to be like a new character. But I'm like, you're using your old music that people are
I was
popping
gonna
over.
say,
Like people enjoy it. So I think they'll keep the music. I guess he might change his persona a little bit. I don't know, but I'm curious to see what they, come out and do as a tag team. Yeah.
yeah, I like the turning of heel of Jack Perry. It's kind of short-lived until he disappeared for quite a while. It seems a bit strange to me to go back to what he's been so adamant he wanted to get away
Right.
from. It seems like a bit of a backstep for him, really. But maybe they've got short-term plans for it. We'll see. Yeah.
I mean, as long as they don't put him back with Marco Stunt,
What's that guy doing in these days?
I couldn't tell you.
Not a clue. Not a clue at all. But then we had Fletcher, Kyle Fletcher versus Orange Cassidy.
Yeah, solid match. Obviously, great to see Orange Cassidy back wrestling and wrestling the top guys on the roster. I think we know that Orange Cassidy wasn't gonna win this match. It was more about how is he gonna lose it. Yeah, he won from the help of Hologram or
Yeah.
the clone Hologram. I think it was pretty
Yeah.
obvious it wasn't Hologram from the beginning, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm like, okay. But that was a really good match. I did enjoy it a lot. Kyle, that's my guy. I knew he would ultimately retain the belt there. But to see the evil or the clone hologram, I'm like, okay, all right. I see what route we're going down. It's fine. And then we had a backstage segment with Miss Mercedes Moné saying that she
Yes.
wants the AEW women's tag team.
Highlight of the show for me.
Oh God, yes.
Because we got the return of Minnie Monet.
Yay.
This is what we wanted to see. I don't want to see Cat Harley Cameron. We want to see
Minnie
Puppet
Monet.
Monet Harley Cameron. I know my friends Dave and Vez listening to this or watching this on YouTube right now are going to be absolutely delighted. They obviously dressed up as Harley Cameron and Minnie Monet at Forbidden Door with some of the craziest cosplay I've ever seen. So they'll be very happy to see Harley Cameron back with the puppet gimmick. But Mercedes didn't look too impressed, did she?
No, I don't know if Harley is going to be her partner. I could see it, but I don't know. I have some other people in mind. I could see Athena, maybe. I could see maybe one of the, I don't see like a Sky Blue, maybe, or something like that. But I can see it being Harley and her.
Yeah.
No, I don't either. I think that was a bit of fun that they'll play on that for a couple of weeks. But
And then she'll turn on her, and then her real.
Harley doesn't need a partner. She's got a partner. She got a puppet. Let's have Harley and Minnie Monet as the first AEW tag champs.
Maybe. I mean,
Sounds-
Mercedes and Harley give me the female rock and sock connection kind of
Yes.
vibes.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm here for it. I mean, let's see it play out.
It worked though, honestly. I just know that Harley went from basically Chris to Mercedes, and I'm like, how is that going to work? But I guess it doesn't really matter in that case. But no, I am curious to see how they come about with these tag team titles for the women. Um, hope they announced something about that for Wrestle Dream, but that's to come. And then we had the Death Riders versus Powerhouse Hobbs, Samoa Joe, and Hangman Adam Page. That was actually a really good match, very hard hitting. You had the spots. Powerhouse Hobbs was doing shit, and I'm like, yeah, I like you. Like, I like you. But no, I did enjoy the match. You know, good guys win here. But then we had a little disruption at the end. We had a little conflict at the end.
Yeah, so I saw them setting this up kind of halfway through because you could see Samoa
Yes.
Joe's face, and I immediately thought, this is who Hangman's gonna face at Wrestle Dream, because Samoa Joe was pulling some faces when he wasn't getting that tag, and he was clearly not happy with Mr. Adam Page, and in true AEW fashion, Samoa Joe fell out with Adam Page straight after the match, and I said, give it 3 minutes and that'll be official for Wrestle Dream.
It was what?
And
I think they both had their separate backstage segments by the end of the night. We already got one match already.
Yeah.
Already
I mean, it's a hot shot build, but I mean, it's being carried by Samoa Joe's aura alone. I mean, he's instant credibility in a title feud like this. So I'm excited to watch this match at Wrestle Dream.
100%, you know, Wrestle Dream matches, that's what we want to see. The kind of matches perhaps that don't really follow particularly storyline, they're kind of dream matches. That's kind of the idea of Wrestle Dream, and this is what we're getting. Doesn't matter that everybody loves Samoa Joe and everybody loves Adam Page at the minute. We want to see them fight, and fight they will, because that is going to be an absolute banger of a match, I'm sure.
When he said, "You never beat me," I said, "Oh, he said that to you, Adam? Oh, I know where this is going. I know where this is going."
Oh, yeah.
I really did enjoy that a lot.
It's going to end with Samoa Joe putting Hangman's simple ass to sleep.
Would like for that to happen. I would like for Joe to get his belt, but I already know. I'm like, probably not, but we'll see. Because who knows with the booking? Who knows? Some shit might happen, but no. I know Wrestle Dream is based off, like, you know, your dream matches, things of that nature. I need AEW to start having more stories, because what the last two pay-per-views have been very much like, oh, confrontation, you had the match. I want to see more story development over time. That's going to help them. That's been my gripe. I've been trying to like see if they would get better at it, but it seems like we're still doing that.
Yeah, it's almost like I feel that they did get better at it for a while. You know, when we had Bryan Danielson still wrestling, we were having some good stories there. Mariah May and Tony Storm, you know, that was the one where I really thought, you know, they're really getting the hang of the sort of storytelling. But yeah, they seem to have kind of gone back to AEW basics and, you know, setting up these not stories but feuds. You know, the feuds, aren't they? They're not stories, short-lived feuds. You know, the only real sort of long-term story we've got going on at the moment is Darby and Moxley still, obviously, and that's set to, I think, probably come to its sort of crescendo, a Wrestle Dream, in that I Quit match. But yeah, you're right, Mirah. They need to work on their stories a little bit more, because the 6th anniversary show at Dynamite, well, it was a wrestling show and there were some very good graps on it, but there was not a hell of a lot of storytelling. There's not a lot. Goes to show that there's not a hell of a lot sort of going on. For a bit of a reminder, really, they haven't got an awful lot, have they? At the moment, they need to start building some good stories up, I think, because they're riding on the good wrestling at the minute. But
and that's fine, because you know you have the talent, but let's build on it, you know? And I feel like that's been where I'm at, and I'm like, AEW, I love you. Like, the wrestling there, the, you know, the time length of, like, the matches and everything has been really good. But if we can just hone in on this storytelling to get people interested in it, and not just, you know, on commentary where someone's saying, like, oh, like, this is what's happening. I want to see this in the ring or in a promo like drawn out, like the Kyle Fletcher Adam Page match. Obviously, like they had 2.5 weeks of promos back and forth and such, which that's fine, but that's just like a little bit more time spent on the stories.
Yeah, and I think this is a problem. You know, bringing Statlander back after such a sort of long layoff and just putting the strap back on her like first match. You know, I know that they're gonna do the rematch with Toni Storm, and there's obviously a little bit of sort of history there, but putting on someone that hasn't sort of been around for nearly 2 years, it's kind of taken away any sort of storytelling, or you're having to start from scratch with any kind of storytelling now around that. We've got Kyle Fletcher that's kind of just doing the open challenge sort of thing, so there's no sort of storytelling there. The strap is on Adam Page, and it looks like they're just the top strap. I mean, you know, it looks like they're just trying to give him some good, legitimate sort of matches to really just solidify this sort of run for him, which they didn't manage to do last time he had the title. So I think that's where they've kind of learned the mistakes from. They're kind of making sure that, you know, he's sort of in the game, he's staying relevant, he's having really great matches, but all that kind of stuff, that good stuff that's happening is kind of got in the way of the stories, doesn't it? It's got in the way of telling any kind of stories. Hopefully the women's tag titles will add a little bit to that. I want to see Julia Hart and Sky Blue have a good run. You know, they've got to be my favorites for those tag titles. They deserve some gold around their waists, and they're really the only sort of established, aren't they, women's tag team really in AEW.
I think Anna Jay and Tay Mello would be the only two. It's only two that I know of, really.
Yeah.
Which
So anything else is gonna be sort of, like you say, Mercedes Moné and whoever she picked and put together, which is fine because, you know, we've seen some great tag teams. We look at Brodito. You know, that was an accident, a happy accident, wasn't it? So maybe we'll see some magic come from this. Let's hope so. But yeah, it's got to be Julia Hart and Sky Blue for me for those tag titles.
I would love for them to be the first ones because they're really young as well. But going on to the women's division, we had Timeless Toni Storm versus Mello. Toni wins, obviously. Cut the promo, which was really amazing. Toni just does this thing in the ring that captivates you. The fucking crowd shouldn't have been saying what.
Oh.
I know, right? That was driving me crazy. I was like, what are you doing?
Bro. And I, like, okay, cute. It's funny. This is Toni Storm. This isn't Ricochet. This isn't like, and I'm sorry to Ricochet, but I'm like, this is not Ricochet where he's a prick or whatever. This is Timeless Toni Storm, and she's trying to fucking talk to you and get her point across. And it was really frustrating the fuck out of me. I was like, what?
No, I was the same. Like, of all people to do that to, like, even, but not Toni Storm. Like, and I don't think it was weird that I don't think they even meant it like in a sort of like disrespectful way, but it was fucking disrespectful.
Yeah, it's like it came off as that, and I'm like,
yeah, just because the cadence is there doesn't mean you have to chant the what. I mean, come on. So, I'm actually, you know, at first I liked the what chant when it first started 24 years ago, but that was 24 years ago. I'm over it. I'm done with it. Get it out of here. Get it out of my professional wrestling.
Yeah,
because they overuse it and then they use it in the most inappropriate moments sometimes. Like when they talked about Kyle Fletcher's socks in Philly, it was funny. It was cute at first. And then it just ruined it, tarnished the promo, and I did not like that, especially after hearing it back. But stuff like that, the crowd, please stop with the what chance when someone's trying to get a point across, especially someone is as established as Toni Storm. I digress. And she does issue a challenge to Stat Daddy for the title one-on-one. And later, Statlander accepts. And they're fighting at like the ramp about it. So that's another Wrestle Dream match confirmed already. So that's really, really good there. That's going to be a good match. This will help solidify for Statlander with the belt if they do decide to keep it on her, or if it's going to go back to Toni. But I think if she gets this win over Toni Storm, this does put her at a good point and spot there, and we'll see whoever her other opponents are going down the line.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Statlander is winning this. She's keeping that title for a bit, and I think this is the best way to really solidify and this reign for her. And she needs to get that one-on-one win over Tony Storm for the credibility. So yeah, good for her.
Yeah, 100%. I definitely agree there. Then next we had the Gates of Agony versus the Swirl. Every time I have to say their fucking name, the Swirl, it's like
This is the most ridiculous name for a tag team that I've ever heard. Are they a chocolate bar? What the fuck is a swirl?
they're both like, I'm a black guy, I'm a white guy, we're gonna be the Swirl, we're young guys. I'm just like, okay, they're very talented. I love Blake Christian. He's really fucking talented. It's just the name for me.
Yeah,
Name.
really bad. Really bad. They could have come up with something a lot better. But yeah, they lost. So
Yeah,
what is
and then Gates of Agony won. Ricochet was on commentary, which is honestly hilarious. And then the Hurston thing comes out, right? And then challenge them to a no disqualification street fight.
Yeah, we had MVP
There we go.
basically saying, he was ashamed of his performance and maybe he hasn't got it anymore. Well, obviously, you haven't wrestled for about 15 years and you're probably about 65 years old. I don't kind of know what you're expecting, but I'm gonna prove it to you guys in a street fight title Tuesday. So yeah, we get to see more MVP in a match that probably will be better suited to his particular wrestling style and ability of a man of his age. This should be fun, right?
I think it'll be a fun match. It'll help hide any of his injuries and such. Street fight, obviously, it'll help with that.
So let me just ask. So, but we're going to Tuesday next week. We're going live to Title Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
What titles are on the line?
It's the tag team titles on the line. We got Okada, Ikushida, and Brodito. So that's one. Okay.
Yeah.
That I know for sure. And then I think, does Mercedes have a match with somebody next? I think she does. I remember seeing something about that. I just don't know if it was announced with her.
Oh, it was. You know what it was? She's doing an open challenge.
Right.
Okay. Fair enough. I'll take that.
Yeah.
Even though
yeah.
I'm tired
So
of her
basically,
doing
they haven't
open
decided yet who Mercedes is going to. There's another thing they hadn't decided apparently is which member of FTR is going to be wrestling on Collision.
Oh yeah,
because Kevin Knight is going to, and they showed this graphic about 7 times during the show. A member of FTR, have they not decided yet? They're just going to wait until the day to decide.
They're going to do rock paper scissors.
Yeah, they just do this. Be like, all right, yeah, I'll go in a match.
Yeah,
it'll be interesting. Then we had, wasn't it? Okay, yeah. So it was Chris Statlander, Darby Allin versus Wheeler Yuta and Mina, or how do you say her name?
Marina
Shafir. There we go. I was about to call her Maria first. Marina Shafir. And Chris, the Darby wins. The crazy part is her feet in the thumbtacks. Then she was blinded. So then she choked you, and Darby does his finisher. And that's that.
Yeah.
This is horrible. For a start, there was a few horrible bits in this match. Yes. I like the fact that the bell never rang for a start. When did the match start?
Wait, it didn't?
I don't think so. No,
they attacked him in the crowd.
They attacked him in the crowd. I'm like, is this match started or is this match not started? So, they just get a tornado tax or whatever. It started in the crowd. It was there for about 10 minutes. I like the fact that they did a bit of the intergender sort of fighting. That was fun. Darby took some really nasty bumps early on in this match. Looked like he was in genuine pain, especially when they had that sort of, what do they call it? The neck breaker drop. That was gross. Darby's face looked like he was in absolute agony on taking that. But it all started with that dive through the ropes onto the chair where you'd have moved out of the way, and you could see immediately that Darby's back was fucked. It was there was a cut in there. He looked like he's in genuine pain. He was hobbling around for the rest of the match. And then Yuta reaches under and get those thumbtacks out, and you're thinking they've already talked about the bare feet. This is definitely not a good idea. But I did not see the fee on the tax coming. Oh my God. Like, we all know how painful it is when you stand on something, a little bit of Lego or something like that. Like, how painful must that be? She had loads of them stuck in her feet.
And not only that, but that suplex off of the ring barrier onto the timekeeper's table. I mean, they took some sick bumps.
Yeah.
Need to know Darby Allin's recovery, because the fact that he goes and does this crazy shit week after week, I'm like, what do you do to recover? I genuinely need to know for your health.
I think he has a Venom symbiote.
Like, I really need to know. Like, I really need to know. But then it ends with Darby starting to beat Wheeler, but then he gets jumped by Pac and the other Death Rider.
Yeah.
Pac sure looks really good with short hair. I kind of like him like that. Like, he looks like real badass.
Pac quite often comes back and looks really badass, and then he talks for the first time, and then he reminds you, for whatever reason. I think that's why they haven't had him say a word since he's come back. It's like he's not said anything, because as soon as that Geordie accent comes out, you just start taking him just so less seriously.
Oh, man.
But it's very true, though. So at the end of the 6th anniversary, during the show, I thought it could have used a little bit more, but I did actually enjoy what it was. I got my graps, so I was very content. But by the end of the show, we have at least 4 matches for Wrestle Dream pretty much confirmed. I Quit match against Darby Allin and Jon Moxley. We have the Chris Statlander versus Tony Storm 101. Hangman Adam Page versus Samoa Joe. And then what's that? 1, 2, 3, and then potentially Kenny Omega and Andrade. Potentially, I guess they'll go through those. And then I know the tag team match is probably going to be a multi-tag match, more than likely, of some sort. Yeah, no, I'm really excited for what we have coming up soon. AEW, good job. I do have some gripes with you, but good job overall. But no, I really did enjoy this week. I needed it.
For a casual lapsed fan like me, it was a good show to kind of jump back in on. There was like throwbacks to the past, because I do remember watching early AEW. I admit that my attention was divided between my beloved Red Sox and the and AEW, and there was a lot of cursing. And then I watched the game. It was a great show. Not quite on the level I was expecting, because of the way they were hyping up the fact that it was the 6th anniversary of Dynamite, but still, it was a serviceable show.
Yeah. It was an okay Dynamite. It didn't have that kind of extra bit that I thought they might have, but I think I'm feeling the same last year of the 5-year anniversary. I think that was a bit sort of middle of the road as well. So yeah, it was good fun. There was some good matches. Didn't do an awful lot, but it set up a lot for Wrestle Dream. Nice.
Yeah, for sure. And then Title Tuesday next week. So I'm expecting a little bit more, since they are in, I think, Jacksonville.
They are. They're at Daly's place. So it should be good. Now, hopefully Title Tuesday is a little bit better than what they used to do with the Battle of the Belts, because I think I counted about like the first 6 of the Battle of the Belts that they did, like no belts changed hands or something like
that. No.
And I don't expect Title Tuesday to be any different.
I don't expect there. I feel like it could be like 1 title change, if anything.
If anything, I'm going for 0. Absolutely 0. But I mean, how many times are you even going to be on it? Well, we'll see. There's been a lot of talk in the Discord recently about a bit of displeasure around WWE in Vegas again, and then going to Saudi the next year. And we've been looking for an alternative, and everybody says AEW is the alternative, but is it generally alternative to WrestleMania? Well, a lot of people that I'm talking to, including yourself, Mirah, and yourself, Dorkchop, we've started putting the feelers about we might be doing a bit of a meetup in London for All In Wembley next year. Is that right, guys?
Yeah.
That is correct. The Airbnb is booked.
Yeah. Hotels.
Here we go. So there's definitely been more, since I've been in, there's more chatter about people coming to London. I know you've done it, Mirah, but I'm not sure many other sort of people in the server have. But there's a lot of people saying, actually, maybe I'm, seen as I won't be going to Mania the next year, or because I don't want to go back to Vegas, maybe I'll do a London all-in trip. So, as someone that has been, is obviously in the UK myself, and I've been to both all-in shows. I also went to Forbidden Door when it was here a few months ago. I wanted to give you guys a little bit of idea of what to expect on All-In Weekend. Is it just a show? Do you just come and go? Should I just come for like the one couple of days? Well, if you don't know already, I'm going to educate you guys a little bit on what All In Weekend looks like, because as far as I'm concerned, All In Weekend in London is about as close as you're going to get to WrestleMania weekend. So what I mean by that is when you go to WrestleMania, you've got all the indies coming into town. You got all the other shows going on. You got shows on the Thursday, the Friday, whenever the pay-per-view is on the other night. You've got shows in the afternoon, you've got shows on the following day, all that kind of thing, all that razzmatazz that goes on with WrestleMania. The podcasts are in town, there's the meet and greets, you've got the Wrestling Observer newsletter and all those type of things putting on shows. Does All In have that? Yeah, absolutely it does. Of course, it's not quite on the scale of what you get when WrestleMania is in town, but it's about as close as you're going to get. So I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the shows you can expect to be on All In Weekend, some of the ones you should definitely look to sort of check out. Talk a little bit about as well what AEW do on top of the show itself, because for last year, well, not last year, but it was last year, but yeah, for All In last year, they actually did a welcome party on the Saturday. Now, the pay-per-view falls on the Sunday. Now, in the UK, that's actually a bank holiday, which means that that's our summer bank holiday, which basically means we have the Monday off. So it's a long weekend. So having that pay-per-view on the Sunday night is great, because it means we don't have to sort of rush home, be up early in the morning. So it's a great weekend to do it in London. Obviously, it's in the middle of summer, so it's about the best. I'm not saying it is going to be nice weather, but it's about the best possible chance you're going to get of nice weather. On the Saturday, Wembley Park itself, you've not been to Wembley Stadium, huge stadium. 90,000 people, the most famous stadium in the UK, if not in Europe, recently got renovated a number of years ago. Is an absolutely stunning stadium, and around it you've got all the ground, you've got bars, you've got restaurants, you've got everything you would expect with a high level arena or stadium. When they rebuilt Wembley, it used to be a very classic old stadium, but Wembley's not the kind of nicest sort of part of London, if you know what I mean. It was just kind of there. The stadium was just kind of there because it was a good place to have it, but you wouldn't be thinking about going out for food around before, or grabbing some drinks at Wembley, around Wembley, sort of after the show is finished. But that's all changed. Wembley Stadium, or Wembley Park as they now call it, is a really cool place. They got all sorts of things going on. They got restaurants, street food, bars, hotels, apartments, Airbnbs, whatever you want. There's one particular big sort of venue space that they have, and it's called Box Park. And Box Park is where AEW did the official welcome party last year, so I expect them to do the same again. What you get there, you get early access to the merch superstore. They have live Q&As. It's a little bit like a mini convention. So it's like a mini con. So it's your WrestleCon. It's not quite your WWE World, but it gives you that idea. So there's meet and greets with the wrestlers. It's the official Predestination event. There's entertainment on, there's live DJs, and in Box Park itself, there's about 12 or 15 different sort of food vendors going around. Some sort of independent, smaller sort of London ones, some like Popeye Chicken, sides, things like that you kind of be a bit more familiar with. So that's what they did last year. So I expect them to do the same again next year. And then on the day of All In, Box Park is also the place to be. And that's usually where Hooked on Wrestling, who used to put on all the watch parties in the UK, or certainly the main company that put on the watch parties in the UK before it kind of went to Netflix and everything got a bit dodgy with the watch parties because of the broadcasting rights. But Hooked On do a big event there before All In start on the day. And that's tickets for that are free. Try and get there early so you can get yourself a little seat and a table. But we did that last year, and that is great fun. So there's a huge sort of quiz that you join in. There's a surprise people turning up. There's stage. There's a DJ. There's obviously food and beverages. There was even a sort of wrestling match that actually happened throughout Box Park, like a rumble kind of match, and they were going up and down on the top of it. So it's great fun. Hooked On, shout out to the guys at Hooked On Events. Absolutely top people. Paul Benson, absolutely great guys. They always put on great shows. So if you see anything with Hooked On when you're over there, make sure you get tickets for that. That'll be at Box Park for sure. They'll do that again. But what else is there? Are you going to get shows on the other nights? Absolutely. Rev Pro. Always put on their wrestling events when AEW is in town. Rev Pro is the #1 British wrestling promotion. Mercedes Moné is obviously the Rev Pro Women's Champion. That's one of her belts, but that's probably one of her most prestigious belts. Rev Pro are very closely linked with New Japan, so there's a lot of crossover between those two, so it makes complete sense for AEW to do a lot of crossover work with them, and they do. Will Ospreay's from Rev Pro, for instance. Michael Oku was the Rev Pro champion. But yeah, Rev Pro, if you want to see a high-level wrestling event, there'll be a Rev Pro show on the Saturday night. There may be one on the Friday night as well.
Yeah,
Sometimes
they're doing
two.
I think they're doing 2 nights now.
They're going to do 2, yeah.
That,
and they'll probably
model.
do them at either sort of the Wembley Arena. They'll probably do them, which is right next door to Wembley Stadium. I think that's where they did them last year. So if you want to go and see a big level wrestling event, that's the one to go to. And you're going to see some high level wrestlers. And you're going to see some people as well that'll be on the AEW All In show the next day, or perhaps AEW wrestlers that didn't make it on the All In card. You're going to see them, sort of quite a few of them wrestle there. And I'd expect Mercedes Moné to be fighting as well. But there's loads more shows to go to. Personally, I've been to lots of Rev Pro shows. They're doing them over here in Manchester. So I always go to that. So when I go to All In, I don't go to Rev Pro because I can quite often see them whenever I want to. Let me tell you some of the other promotions that you probably haven't heard of before, but you should definitely see if you're over in London, and especially if you're not from the UK and it's your first time visiting. Make sure you go and see these shows if you get a chance. I'm going to start with one that I talked about in the podcast a couple of weeks ago, Eve Pro Wrestling. This promotion are the leading, if not the world's leading, women's only wrestling promotion. They are absolutely fantastic. Their shows are incredible. They are all produced by Will Ospreay. So you can imagine the kind of fun that we're having. On the Eve show the night before Forbidden Door, we had loads of AEW wrestlers. We had Sky Blue, we had Julia Hart, we had Queen Aminata, we had lots of AEW talent. We also had Nyla Rose, of course, the former AEW Women's Champion, and she actually won the belt that night. And so yeah, if you get a chance to go to Eve, it's one of the most wholesome wrestling experiences you can go to. The crowd are awesome. It's a super inclusive space, as most indie shows in the UK are, by the way. Very inclusive community. Really great to be a part of. Another one to an eye on, Riot Cabaret Pro Wrestling. These guys are fairly new, but they put on some absolutely incredible shows. Unfortunately, I think it fell on the night before I got to London Forbidden Door, so I couldn't go, or it might have fallen on the same night as Eve, I can't remember. But yeah, hopefully they're on separate nights. If you get a chance to go and see Riot Cabaret, the guys over there doing an incredible job, and they got some great people. Promotions you may have already heard of. Progress, who are linked with Defy. Now, you'll often see Progress come to town when WrestleMania's in town. Progress are the other main indie promotion within the UK, and they run regular shows in London, in Camden, at their Electric Ballroom. which is where their show will be, or then they occasionally come to Manchester, which is when I go and see them the most. Progress have an awesome roster. Lots of people that you see now on WWE TV and on AEW TV came through Progress. The likes of Pete Dunne, people like that, they're all came from Progress Wrestling. Rhea Ripley. So yeah, great, fantastic shows. Electro Bourne's a really cool place to watch wrestling. TNT Extreme Wrestling will probably put on a show as well. So if you like your deathmatch wrestling, that kind of stuff, they're the guys see. They're linked with GCW. So if you want to see some shards of glass flying around in your face and some of those light bulbs being smashed very close to your feet, TNT are the people to go and watch there. Eve also did a super show last year with Choco Pro, who are the other women's promotion from Japan, should I say, not from New Japan. So they'll probably do a double 2 shows that weekend. So if you like your Joshi wrestling and that kind of thing, that's definitely something to check out. So that's the wrestling shows. But what else can you expect? Well, there'll be lots of sort of talks. There'll be lots of podcasts. So Wrestling Observer did a show last year, so expect to see something like that. I know Fozzy had a gig in town last year as well, so wouldn't be surprised to see Fozzy having a gig the night before. We have the Magic Show, of course, Nigel's McGuinness's Magic Show. So if you didn't know, Nigel McGuinness is actually a very talented magician, and he does a magic show. I haven't actually been, but I've been very close to going, but I haven't been, but from what I've heard, that's well worth checking out. Lots of other promotions will be in town as well. Probably North Wrestling will have a show, Attack Pro Wrestling. There'll be loads going on. So it will really give you that kind of weekender feel. For me, I've got 4 nights booked so far, but I may extend that to 5. So if you're planning on coming to London, where should you stay? And you'll probably be asking, what area should I be looking at in London? You know, obviously, first of all, Wembley. But how easy is it going to be to get a hotel in Wembley? Well, I did manage to get only a few weeks ago my hotel booked in Wembley Park at Premier Inn for a pretty good price. But I reckon a lot of those will be booked up now. The thing about London is not about the area. It's about matching the hotel you're staying at to a tube station, because the underground tube network is what is going to get you from Wembley to where you want to go. And you will actually be surprised at how far it goes out. Now, pretty much, if you're not staying in Wembley, you're going to be getting on that tube. So if you're looking for somewhere to stay, because London can be notoriously expensive to stay in, but if you get a hotel that's very close to any stop, really, on either the Jubilee or the Metropolitan line, you can go pretty far out, and you'll still only be 20 minutes, 25 minutes away from Wembley on the tube, and get you right outside Wembley Stadium first thing in the morning. You'll be able to pick up some cheap Airbnbs out there if you want to go out. Last year, we stayed at an Airbnb in like Woking. It cost us like hardly anything. It was really cheap, and it was really easy just to get straight into sort of Wembley Park. So you can be a bit out of London if you want to save money. Obviously, the more central you are in London, if you want to actually stay in central London, real central London, because you want to do some sightseeing, you're going to be paying a lot of money. But if you want to save some money, look up the Jubilee, look up the Metropolitan lines, and look at the stops, and then see which hotels are close to those stops. Because if you get those, you can then just come out of Wembley, jump on one of those tubes, and that will get you straight back to your hotel. So areas that are a bit cheaper, a place like Harrow will probably have some cheaper hotels. Yeah, look at those kind of places. Things that are a little bit sort of going outside or just on the outskirts of central London if you want a sort of cheaper trip. But yeah, if you're thinking of coming to All In, so I'm hoping we're going to get a bit of a Discord crew, bit of a meet-up next year for All In, and we'll certainly talk a bit more about that. But yeah, I just wanted to break the ice and give you an idea of what you can expect if you were planning on traveling, and if you weren't, maybe you are now, to London for All In. Mirah, what's your experience been with All In?
Oh, but last year I stayed in Ealing, so I was right near the bus stop. I was right near like the tube, with like maybe like an 8-minute walk to like the actual station.
Yeah.
it was really easy to get around. If I was out late and I'm like, oh, I can catch an Uber, I did. It wasn't that big of a deal. The food around Ealing was really diverse. Like I had a lot of options. I actually just checked where I'm staying at now. So this time around, I am near the Hendon Central Station.
Yeah.
So I'm right there, and I always try to find places that have like food right around, even if it's like small cafes, things of that nature. But it was so easy to get on the tube. I went to the museums in town. I seen them do like the actual like guard changing. Like I did all that stuff too. It was really fun. The weather kind of messed me up, but I knew to bring a jacket. I knew to bring one. I didn't. I packed shorts. I did not end up wearing them at all. I was in my pants the whole weekend. But no, it was actually a really good time. I did the Red Pro show. At the time, they only had the one night, but I think starting this year, they did like the Friday and the Saturday. So hopefully, I'll be able to attend one or both next year. But no, I'm very excited. Honestly, just think smart. People like where you should stay. Look up things as well. But no, I'm very excited for next year. I think that's my wrestling trip that I'm doing.
And Dorkchop, it'll be your first time in London, is that right?
Yes, it will be. So I'm just like soaking in all the information that I can, because I booked a hotel sight unseen before you gave me the information to like book along the tube lines. So I don't know how close Twyford Abbey Road is to one of the underground lines. I'm gonna have to double check that, but I'm looking forward to it. I'm still waiting on my passport, and then I gotta get my tourist visa, and I gotta learn up the culture because I know tipping culture isn't as big a deal there, stuff like that. But I'm excited. I mean, I'm not really an indie wrestling kind of dork chop, but it's one of those things where I'm gonna kind of soak it all up, and I can't wait.
100%. Well, we can't wait to welcome you guys with open arms, and we'll have an absolute blast. I'm sure if you guys come over, and yeah, don't worry, Dorkchop, I'll take a look at your hotel, and we'll make sure you're getting the right one. But there's loads of options in London. You're gonna have an awesome time, and like you say, even if you are a little bit out where you're staying, very easy on the Tube Network just to get to where you want to go into central London. You want to go and see Big Ben, you want to go and see the Tate Modern, you want to go and see Tower Bridge, whatever you want to do, you'll be able to access it easily pretty much wherever you are staying on the Tube Network. So yeah, that's it from me.
That's it for today, y'all. We hope you enjoy. We have more content coming our way. We might have some Vegas content coming as well within the next few days, so be on the watch for that. But enjoy, everyone, and have a good evening or a good day, depending on what time you're listening to us. But yeah, bye.
Thanks, guys. Bye.